Okay, so let's start the session. So yesterday we started with like how to fire a SQL query and then how to restrict the query to give just one record in the return. So whenever we wanted just one record to be fetched, or rather whenever we wanted to put up the restriction on this thing ki how many record a query should be written, so we actually use limit clause. Fine. So limit along with the number of count that will restrict the number of the record that is being written by a query. So yesterday we have seen like if the query returns only one record, then what should we do? We should collect it into a variable. We should always collect it into a variable of the type. The type would be the same. The type would be the same. You are fetching data from which of the object. For example, if you are fetching the data from the account object, so what you should do is like, you should declare a variable of the type account. If you are fetching the data, from the contact object to what you should do, you should declare a variable of the type contact in this way, right? Now let's understand what happens if the query returns multiple record. Now see, yesterday we have seen this, if I will be firing a query, for example, on the account object, how much record are there? 36 records. Okay. So if I'm going to fire a query onto account object, that's going to give me in return, that will going to return me 36 account record. So very obviously, I cannot collect it into one variable of the type account. Because the account ACC मतलब क्या होता है कि account ACC indicates कि this is a variable of the type account, but this variable is capable to hold only one record. This variable is capable, every variable in fact, not just this variable. In fact, if you define integer num1, ठीक है, string name. So all of the variable what you will be defining, that variable could store only one value of that particular data type. So integer num will store only one value of num integer. String name will only store one value of string. Account ACC will only store one record, one value of the type account. That's what the thing. Here now, let's understand this fact. Okay, if the query is going to return you multiple records, then obviously we cannot collect it into a single variable. And moreover, if I know this that my query is going to return approximately 36 record, is it feasible that I'm going to declare 36 variables for that, 36 different variables for that? What if चलो ठीक है, अगर आप शायद सोच भी रहे हैं, अगर आपके दिमाग में कहीं पर भी ऐसा चल रहा है, so what about if my query will return me 50,000 record? What you will be doing that time? Are you going to declare 50,000 variables to handle those? Obviously नहीं, ऐसा नहीं करेगा हम, है ना? That means there must be some provision to handle this. Yes, there is. So whenever the query returns multiple record, we always collect it into collection. We always collect it into collection of the type list. Collection of the type list, not set. Why? There is a rule behind that. There is a reason behind that. See, we have identified few of the major differences between list collection and set collection, and you probably have created those. Anybody of you haven't? I don't remember, but probably anybody of you haven't. I mean, क्या बोलना चाहिए उसको? I am not getting what to say for that. No one of you has actually व्हाट यू से अरे क्या बोलेंगे यार उसको, तुमने से किसी ने इसमें डाला नहीं, कभी कभी मैं भी ब्लैंक हो जाता हूँ, आजकल ज्यादा ही होता हूँ. सो no one actually have created differences. No one has created differences and posted into the group. So I don't know whether you guys have done this or not, but I have told you, yeah, try to create the collections differences between list and set, right? So what is the major differences? So we have identified few of them. One of the differences, what set collection will discard the duplicate elements, whereas the list collection will allow to have duplicate elements. Now see, for example, if we are fetching 36 records, if we are sorry, if we are fetching the records from any of the object, for example, we are fetching the records from the account object. How many records are there? There are altogether 36 records. There could be some of the possibilities where we could see that few of the records are duplicated, but still we wanted to fetch them. Agar if I start collecting the result, if I fire a query on this account object, that will going to give me 36 record. But if I collect it into the set collection, if I collect the result of query into set collection, it will going to discard the duplicate elements. And that is what the possibility we don't want. We actually rather wanted to fetch exact amount of data that an object is having. So if the object is having 36 record, out of 36 record, let's say 10 of the records are duplicated. So that 10 record shouldn't be get discarded. Rather, we should be able to fetch all 36 record, all 100 record, all 50,000 records. That's what the capacity of one SQL, right? That's what the governor limit actually. So we should be able to fetch every single record from the object. That is why, that is why. Now listen this very carefully. Listen this very carefully. That is why the default return type of any SQL query is always list collection. Whenever a query returns multiple record, whenever a query, if you fire a query on an object, it returns multiple record. If it returns single record, you could definitely create a variable of that data type, that object, and then you could collect it. Yesterday, yeah, we have done this, right? Yesterday we have done this. Now see, if you know that your query is going to return multiple records, then the default return type of every SQL query in that case is always a list collection, Remember this. And why not set collection? That is also I have told you. Why not set collection? Because we don't want it this, कि जो भी duplicate elements हो वो discard हो जाए. No. Rather, we wanted to fetch exact count of data we wanted to fetch from that particular object. And that's the reason, the I mean by default the return type of every SQL query, if it returns multiple record, is always a list collection. Now see, from here, what I have did, I created a query on the lead object. Okay. Select like ID, first name, whatever, last name, email from the lead. Now this query probably will give me, see, let's go to the lead record, and if I click on all the open leads, so this query probably will going to return me 22 lead records. So what I am doing over here is like I will be defining a list collection of lead with any name. You should define a collection. Which type of collection? Precisely and precisely only list collection. So if you are firing the query on lead, you should define a collection of list of lead. If you're firing a query on account, you should create a list of account. If you are firing a query on campaign, opportunity, hiring manager, you should create a list collection of that particular object. That is what I think. Okay, so let's take a use case first of all, and let's understand this with the program. Okay, so we shall understand this with the help of this program, and there are a few more programs. Probably I could take 2 to 3 programs by today for explaining you this concept. So we need to write an Apex program, and we wanted to fetch the account records from the object. We wanted to fetch all of the account record. Okay, and then we should represent that onto the debug log file. Let's see how we are going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to the developer console, and this time I'll be creating a class for this. We will be creating class and methods for this, and with the help of class and methods, we will be covering this. So I'm creating a new class for this Apex class. Let me give the name as to be the database helper. ठीक है. I'm creating this class, और इसके बाद में जितनी भी methods बनाऊंगा, I will be creating the methods inside this class only. The class will be same, only the methods are going to be changed. So what we are going, guys, let me copy the use case first of all. We wanted to write down an Apex program that will fetch all of the account records. That will fetch all of the account records, and we shall display that onto the debug log file. Fine. So for this use case, I'm creating a method, public static void. Why static? Because I wanted to call this method with the method name, class name dot method name. That's why static. And void, why? Because it's a procedure. It is not a function. Later on, we will be studying functions also, but right now what I'm defining is a procedure. This method is a procedure. This method, let me give a name to that also. So get all account, get all account records. That's what the method. Okay, that's what the method name is. So what I'm doing is like, this method will not return anything, and that's why the return type is void. So this method actually is a procedure. This method actually is a procedure. So let me save up to this. Let me save up to this. This is I'm saving. And let's now, we will design everything. We will design a query that's going to return us, that's going to return us what? That will going to return us all of the account record. So one possibility is like you could type the query. Second, I have told you the another way, the another way to do this is like, go to the object, select the object on which you wanted to fire the query. I wanted to fire the query on the account. So let me make a double click over here. And then what I would like to fetch, I would like to fetch the ID, name, type of the account. And for example, billing city, billing street, state, postal code, or rather, no. Let me don't select this. Billing city is fine. And then shipping, I don't want. I wanted to fetch phone, fax, and the website values. I wanted to fetch the rating and the ownership also, even the annual revenue and the industry also, and then the active status also. So these are few of the fields I have selected. What I selected is, the selection is like ID, name, type, then the type and the billing city हटा देते चलो ठीक है. Phone, fax, website, industry, annual revenue, ownership, rating, and I think active status. Now let me create a query. So for that, I click this query button. I click this query button. So see, the query has been created. Either you could type it or you could make this tool to help you out. Okay. So what I have designed, I designed this query. Now every static query must always be enclosed within square bracket, right? That's why I have created this a square bracket, and I'm just copying and pasting it over here. I'm just copying and pasting it over here. So what I have done, I created a query. Now see, this query will going to return me multiple records. For sure, this query will going to return me multiple records. Whenever the query is returning you multiple records, we should always collect it inside collection. Collection of type your object. You're firing the query. You are firing the query on account object. So it's going to give you multiple records of the type account. And so I'm defining a collection of the type account. Okay. Let me give any name to this. For example, LST accounts. Okay. LST accounts equals to this whole query, industry and everything from account. Okay, so I'm filing this query. This query will going to return me all of the records. This query is going to return me all of the records from the account object. They will be get stored inside one of the collection called as list collection. Okay, LST account. Now, before I proceed further, yesterday we have discussed one of the best practice. Here you could do one thing. If you wanted to see, you could do one thing. System.debug. Okay, system.debug the size, यानी हाउ मच डेटा इज बीइंग फेच. अगर हमको देखना है कि ये क्वेरी ने आपको कितना रिकॉर्ड रिटर्न किया है, तो वी कुड प्रिंट द साइज ऑफ दिस. जितने रिकॉर्ड्स इसके अंदर होंगे कलेक्शन के अंदर, उतना क्वेरी ने आपको फेच करके दिया. दैट वी कुड अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? सो द साइज ऑफ collection, the size of collection equals to, here you could print like, plus what? LST accounts dot size. So I'm just copying this, pasting it over here. LST account dot it should ideally give me the intelligence. LST account dot should ideally give me the intelligence. I don't know what's the reason why sometimes this happens with the cloud technology even. So it's giving some error. Let me see what is the error. Okay, error is gone. Let me now save this code first of all. Let me now save this code first of all, and let's try to execute this program. Okay, so I'll be executing this program. So I'm going to the developer execute anonymous window. I'm deleting everything from here. Now see, this method is a static method. How you will be calling this method? Directly you just require to copy the name of the class dot name of the class dot name of the method. That's it. And give a semicolon over here. This is why, this is the advantage. This is the advantage of making a method has to be static. Otherwise क्या करना होता था? We should first of all create an object. इसका object बनाते थे, and with the help of that object we will be calling this, है ना? So to avoid this difficulty, to make the navigation has to be very straight, what we have done, we make this method has to be static. और मैंने कहा था, याद रखिए, इसके बाद मैं जितनी भी मेथड्स बनाऊंगा, दैट ऑल मेथड विल बी स्टैटिक मेथड. ठीक है, चलिए. So let's execute the program and let's see how much data. Let's execute the program and let's see कि how much data this query will going to return. That all data will be going to stored inside this collection, list collection, and we will be printing the size of that collection. Okay, so let's do that. So open log and execute. Open log and execute. So this query has returned me 36 record. Now the collection size is 36. That's what the data is there into account. If I go to the account and I click on all accounts, you see there are 36 records. है ना? तो हमारी query बिल्कुल सही काम किया है, and query has returned us the 36 records. Now let's move further to print this. This was about fetching the record. This was about fetching the record and storing it into the collection. Let's now print that. Let's now print that all 36 record one by one. All 36 record one by one. So yesterday I told you कि जब भी आप इसके बाद collection पे, whenever you work on the collection, it's always good to see whether the collection is empty or not. ठीक है? So if what I will be writing over here, if not of what not, lst accounts dot is empty. Is empty is a function. Is empty is a function. You know this, is empty is a function. अगर याद नहीं आ रहा है तो आज collections पे जाएंगे, list collection पे जाएंगे और इस function को पढ़ेंगे. ठीक है, ये बताता है कि आपका ये जो collection है वो empty है या नहीं. It returns true. It returns true if the collection is empty. What I'm checking over here with the not symbol, with the not operator, what I'm checking, I will be checking. अगर मैं इसको इंग्लिश में बोलना चाहूँ, इस लाइन को अगर मैं इंग्लिश में बोलना चाहूँ तो I'll be saying कि what I'm checking, I'll be checking that LST account is not empty. If LST account is not empty, if LST account is not empty, if it's not empty, that means if it have the record. और वैसे भी अभी आपने देखा इसका साइज प्रिंट करके, इसका साइज मिला है 36. दैट मीन दिस कलेक्शन इज नॉट एम्प्टी. दिस कलेक्शन इज हैविंग 36 रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ द टाइप अकाउंट. Or rather, I should make it very simple to say this collection have 36 account records. This collection have 36 account records. That's what the query has given to you. That's what the query, when you fire this query has returned 36 records from the account. Okay, and that's all this is. So whenever, see, as a best practice, always remember this one is a best practice. Whenever you collect your records into the collection, before you perform any operation, you must always check whether the collection is empty or not. If it is not empty, if the collection is not empty, then proceed for whatever you wanted to do. So what I wanted to do, I just wanted to print every 36 record individually, like one by one I wanted to print. That's why I will be taking for loop. अभी देखो, ये अगर मैं if I don't write down this, ठीक है, मुझे कोई जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे. अगर मैं ये लिखूं तो मुझे पता है उसका साइज 36 है. ठीक है, then in that case, I could go it like this: integer counter which should start from 36, 1, and the counter that should less than equals to how much, 36, and then counter plus plus. ठीक है, तो ये यहाँ से आपका लूप चलेगा, and you will be printing all 36 records. You will be printing all 36 records in that way. तो ये नहीं करना है अपने को. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं करना है अपने को. इसमें क्या होगा कि हर बार आपको साइज देखना पड़ेगा पहले. बट इफ यू डोंट नो द साइज, अगर आपको साइज नहीं पता है, देन डोंट गो विद दिस. तो ये जो लूप है ना, ये कभी यूज नहीं करते. रादर वी ऑलवेज यूज द एनहांस लूप, एनहांस फॉर लूप. एनहांस फॉर लूप कैसा होता है? सबसे पहले दो partition that is created with the colon is a separator, kind of separator. Here on the right hand side you need to give the name of that collection जहां से हमको डेटा फेच करके लाना है. ठीक है, ये खास बात है इस लूप की कि ये ऑटोमेटिकली पहले रिकॉर्ड से लेके लास्ट रिकॉर्ड तक अपने आप चलता है। हमें ये देखना नहीं पड़ता कि एक्चुअली साइज क्या है ना, हमें ये देखने की जरूरत ही नहीं है कि व्हाट एक्चुअली इज द साइज, व्हाट एक्चुअली इज द साइज, ठीक है। ये साइज हमें देखने की जरूरत नहीं है, रादर ये एनहांस फॉर लूप अपने आप एलएसटी अकाउंट, ये जो आपका लिस्ट कलेक्शन है, इसमें जो पहला रिकॉर्ड है वहां से लेके लास्ट रिकॉर्ड का जो भी काउंट होगा वहां तक अपने आप चलेगा। सो वी आर कॉलिंग, वी आर द कॉलिंग रिकॉर्ड फ्रॉम दिस कलेक्शन। ये हो गया इसका कि आप कहाँ से लेके आ रहे हो। दूसरा, आप जो रिकॉर्ड ला रहे हो, एक एक रिकॉर्ड जो आएगा उसका टाइप क्या है, अकाउंट। एवरी 36 रिकॉर्ड इज हैविंग अ टाइप अकाउंट। तो उसका टाइप क्या है, अकाउंट। वो आप कॉपी करके यहाँ पेस्ट करो। एंड हियर यू आर सपोज टू मेक एन ऑब्जेक्ट, अ टेम्पररी ऑब्जेक्ट, अ टेम्पररी ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ दिस टाइप। तो अभी कैसे लूप काम करेगा, पहला यहाँ पर टोटल 36 रिकॉर्ड्स हैं, उसमें से पहला रिकॉर्ड निकलेगा और कहाँ स्टोर होगा, एसीसी में, ठीक है। पहला रिकॉर्ड आएगा एसीसी में, फिर हम उसको यहाँ पर अभी प्रिंट करेंगे, पहला, फिर दूसरा, फिर तीसरा, एंड दिस गोज ऑन। एंड ये लूप कहाँ से कहाँ तक चलेगा, इसके पहले रिकॉर्ड से लेकर लास्ट रिकॉर्ड तक, जो भी इसका काउंट होगा, जो भी काउंट होगा इसका, ठीक है, एन तक, वहां तक चलेगा ये। तो ये होता है एनहांस फॉर लूप का एक बेनिफिट, ठीक है। चलो, तो अभी मैं आई बी प्रिंटिंग दिस होल रिकॉर्ड, वन बाय वन प्रिंट करता हूँ। तो सिस्टम डॉट डीबग दी अकाउंट id इक्वल्स टू प्लस, प्लस व्हाट, acc dot id, see now the intelligence is appearing, ठीक है। acc dot id, ये जो यहाँ पर आपने fetch किया है, all of the fields that you have fetch, id fetch किया, name fetch किया, phone है ना, that I could only print, that I could only print। So the next is system dot debug, the name, the second is the name of the account equals to plus acc dot name, ठीक है। and then next system dot debug, the next entity is phone, ठीक है। system the account phone equals to plus acc dot phone, ठीक है। and then system dot debug, phone के बाद में क्या है, fax, so the account fax equals to plus acc dot fax, ठीक है। and the next entity after fax, it is website, so system dot debug the account website equals to plus acc dot website, ठीक है। and then next system dot debug, after website it's rating, so the account rating equals to plus acc dot rating, ठीक है। and then next system dot debug, after rating it's what, it's ownership, so the account ownership equals to plus acc dot ownership, ठीक है। that's what I'm clicking। and then system dot debug, the next is what, after this, annual revenue, so the account annual revenue equals to plus acc dot annual revenue, ठीक है। after annual revenue it's industry, so system dot debug the industry, the account industry equals to plus acc dot industry, ठीक है, acc dot industry, ठीक है। after that इंडस्ट्री के बाद क्या है, एक्टिव स्टेटस, ओके। सो सिस्टम डॉट डीबग द अकाउंट एक्टिव स्टेटस इक्वल्स टू प्लस acc डॉट एक्टिव स्टेटस, ओके। ये पहला रिकॉर्ड के लिए हो गया। देखो, पहला रिकॉर्ड जब प्रिंट होता है तो उसके बाद अब मैं चाहता हूं कि एक पार्टीशन हो दूसरा रिकॉर्ड प्रिंट होने से पहले, दैट्स व्हाई सिस्टम डॉट डीबग एक पार्टीशन के लिए, जस्ट फॉर अ पार्टीशन, एक पार्टीशन के लिए ये कर रहा हूं मैं, ठीक है। दैट्स फॉर द रीजन। नाउ लेट मी सेव दिस फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, ठीक है। चलो, तो अब क्या होगा कि यहाँ पे इस कलेक्शन के अंदर करीब करीब 36 रिकॉर्ड्स हैं। पहला रिकॉर्ड निकलेगा, एसीसी में आएगा और पहला रिकॉर्ड पूरा प्रिंट हो जाएगा। उसके बाद एक लाइन नजर आएगी आपको, फिर दूसरा रिकॉर्ड, फिर तीसरा रिकॉर्ड, ठीक है। इस तरह से आप जो है इसको प्रिंट कर पाएंगे। सो लेट्स एग्जीक्यूट दिस प्रोग्राम। सो वंस अगेन गो टू दिस डेटाबेस डॉट हेल्पर, क्लास नेम डॉट मेथड नेम, एग्जीक्यूट दिस। So agar if I see over here, let me go with this debug first of all. How many SQL queries we have fired? 1. How much we could fire? 100. How many data we have fetched? 36. How much we could fetch? 50,000. Okay, that's what the thing. Now let's go with the debug. So देखो, the collection size is 36. This is the first record with this ID, the name, phone number, okay, and everything. This is the second record, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, and this goes on till the last record. This one is the 36th record. Okay, okay, so that's how we print this. Let me take one more program. Let me take one more program for this, and then we will be seeing some more things over here. So yeah, okay, so this use case we have completed. Let me go with another use case. Let me go with another use case. So write an Apex program to fetch all the case related records. Okay, all the records from the case object. So let me do that. I'll be creating this use case. Okay, I'll be creating this use case. So what I'm doing, I'll be creating another method for this. For example, public static void get all case records. So this is the name of the method. Okay, you could give any name for that. That's not the issue. Okay, you always should give this. You could give any name for that. Okay, so I wanted to fetch the data from the case. Let me first of all create the query. Let me first of all create the query. So how to create the query? The easiest way to do that is to use the query editor. So let's open the case. What you wanted to fetch? I wanted to fetch ID, and for example case number. I wanted to fetch the type, status, and the region, origin, subject, priority of the case. I also wanted to know whether the case is closed or not, whether the the case is open or the case is closed. Any more thing? ID I wanted to see. I wanted to see the type of the case, status, the reason, origin, subject, priority. Also wanted to see whether the case is closed or not. And let me fire this query. Let's fire the query. So this is the query, this is the query what we have created. So let me copy this query. Let's copy this query, and we will be going to paste it over here. We will be going to paste it over here. Okay, so what we are fetching, guys, first of all, the every static query must always be enclosed with a within a square bracket. Okay, so this is the query I'm going to be fired. Now see, I am not sure about this, okay, how much record this query is going to give me, but one thing which is I'm absolutely sure, this query will return me multiple records of the type case. So how we are collecting what I just told you. The default return type of every SQL query is always a list collection. List collection of the type of that S object, of the type of that Salesforce object. So if you're firing a query on the case object, if you're firing the query on the case object, how you should define a collection? A list of case. A list of case. Now give any name. For example, LST case equals to this. The same I have done it over here. I fired a query onto account. I define a list of account with any name. That's what I'm doing it right now over here. Okay. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. So this is my query. This is my query, and this query will return me some of the record. If you wanted to see how much record this query has given to us, so we could print the size, the size of the collection, oblique the number of the records. It's one and same thing, guys. Number of the records uh, returned by the SQL equals to what we wanted to print. We wanted to print the size of this. तो SQL query ने कितना रिटर्न किया है, dot size. ठीक है, that's free variable. So चलो पहले इतना प्रोग्राम बनाते हैं, let's do this first of all. So I'm saving this. पहले इतना प्रोग्राम बनाते हैं. Let's see how much record we will be able to fetch with this query. So what I'm going to do is like database. I'll be not executing this, rather I don't know what is wrong with this. Previously also it was giving me this one. Let me copy this manually and paste it over here. Get all account record, put a semicolon, and let's now execute this. So this query is going to return you 28 records. Your case object probably have 28 records. That's what the reason. The case object is having 28 records. That's the reason this query is going to return you 28 records. So let me close this all thing and let's proceed with the program further. Okay, so now I wanted to print all 28 records one by one. I wanted to print all 28 records one by one. Okay, I wanted to print all 28 records one by one. So first of all, if what not of, always check this. That's what I have told, is not of what, the collection, not of what, the collection dot is empty, not of the collection is empty, not of the collection is empty. So if your collection is not empty, if your collection is not empty, then only do it. So this is always a best practice, है ना. इसकी आदत डाल लो कि whenever we make the use of collection anywhere in the program, like here what I'm doing, I'm firing a query and storing the result inside collection. So before I do anything further in the program, I should first of all check whether this collection is having some of the record or it is empty. If it is not empty, then do whatever you wanted to do. I just wanted to print the records. That's why I'm taking enhance for loop. I wanted to print this record from this collection. I wanted to get the records from every 28 records from first to last. From the beginning to the last. I wanted to print every record from this collection. That's why I've taken this. Every record what is going to be get, this collection will store every record of the type case. That's why that's why case object, and now define any object, for example cs. Okay, like this. So this is going to return one by one. It's going to return the records of the type case that we have stored inside CS. अब हम CS के से आगे बढ़ा के इसमें सब print करेंगे. So the first thing what I have fetched ID. The ID of the case equals to plus what? CS dot ID system dot debug. The second is case number. The case number of the case number equals to plus cs dot case number system dot debug. The second, after case number is type, the type of the case equals to plus what, cs dot type. Okay, then system dot debug. After type it's what, status. Acha. So the status of the case equals to plus what, cs dot क्या है, status. ठीक है, and then system dot debug. After this, what is that case? Reason. Okay, the reason, the reason, the reason of the case equals to plus cs dot reason. ठीक है, after reason it's origin. So system dot debug origin. The case origin equals to plus cs dot origin, and then system dot debug. After origin, what we have fetched? Subject. Okay, the case subject equals to plus not here, yeah, plus थोड़ा सा नीचे कर लेता हूं मैं इसको. हाँ, plus what, cs dot subject. ठीक है, that's what the thing. Then system dot debug after subject it's priority, so the case priority equals to plus what, plus what? CS dot priority, and then system dot debug. After priority is what? Is closed. WHETH, whether the case is closed, क्या केस जो है वो क्लोज हो चुकी है, प्लस आई वांटेड टू सी is closed. ठीक है. So these are the things. Let me save this. अभी सेव कर रहा हूँ मैं. सेव नहीं है अभी. This star means सेव नहीं है. Now I from my keyboard I press Control S. Control S, ये सेव हो चुका है. ठीक है. Let me now call this. हाँ, उसके पहले I wanted to make a partition between all 28 records. So system dot debug. That's what. ठीक है. Let me once again save this. Okay. Now let's print this. So the method name is what? Get all case records. That's what we are calling this method in respective to this class. So let me execute this. Debug. So there are 28 records that this query has written. If you wanted to check how many records the query has been fetched, so just go in the bottom of this. So we fired one query. That query returned us 28 record. How many queries we could fire in a single transaction, in a single program? We could maximum fire 100 SQL queries. How much data we could fetch with one SQL? We could fetch up to 50,000 of the records. How much data this query has written is 28. How many DML statements I could execute? 150. Although I haven't used any DML statement, obviously I haven't used it, right? How much data I could fetch with one DML is 10,000. What is the maximum heap size? How much characters a program could consist of? 60 lakh characters, not more than that. Not more than that. How many SOSLs, Salesforce object search language queries you could fire? 20, not more than that. Okay? So these are some of the governor limits that you should revise it every time, because I want every one of you to learn this. So yeah, this is the complete case record that we have fetched. Okay. So this much I think is sufficient from my side for today. Now you have these two programs that I have solved this, how to fetch the account record, lead record, or rather case record. Now there are few more programs that write an Apex program to fetch the hiring manager records. Okay. And these are the few assignments also. Okay. So go with this limit clause. I was about to take it, but we already have done this. So I'll be starting this from here. From tomorrow, I'm going to start it from here. Limit we already have learned. We will take a quick revision and then we will go further to the all rows. That's what we are going to learn. Okay. Let me first of all stop the recording.